Am I audible? Hi, very good morning to you all. My name is Abhisheck Bharadwaj. I represent Team Computers. And today I will be talking about building and benefiting from the culture of analytics. And I will be speaking about the curious case of Bookmyshow. So when I say culture, culture is basically a different in different organization. See, you cannot copy and paste an employee to an organization. It's basically a culture is a premeditated thought. Have you ever heard of any company who is saying, I have a cost saving just by an accident? Have you ever heard of that? Because it's a corporate culture. Because to derive a culture of an analytics, it's require a very premeditated, a very focused thoughts, and it determines the character of an organization. Let's say speak about what organizations say when you speak about culture of an analytics, which is data driven. It is data driven. It's multidisciplinary people taking care of the biggest problem of their organization and unearthing the most promising opportunity. That's how a roadmap or the people talk about the analytics culture. Who are those people? Who are those people in your organization who wanted that answer? What to extract from the data? When to extract from the data? What information they want to extract from the data? Because any synthesis of an information is basically determines the data culture. Let's see about it. So what happens when we actually do a data culture analytics, or we actually prepare a culture analytics of an organization? The focus of the company actually moves from the data to the question-oriented organizations. So they don't just want the data, they want to ask the question from the data. That's a paradigm shift which happens when you derive the analytical culture, which is data-driven in any of the organization. The information is not with a few people. It is with many people. Lastly, they just don't want the answer. See, today the world is changing. Today we are in the world where people want to discover from the data. So today new and new products are basically coming in the market because they are empower the data analyst, which are in the line of businesses, which is actually creating a self-service data analytics culture where people can unearth themselves, they can directly connect to the data and move from answers to the discovery zone. And they don't want to work in the silos. People don't want to be actually with the devices. They just don't want to be with their only the laptop, devices, mobile phones. They want to be a part of the complete culture, the complete organization. So let's start with the building block one. What is the building block one of a data-driven analytical culture? See, whenever you start a data culture, what person first asks, where is the data? So they need to identify where the data is. Then they want to extract the data, right? Now, by extracting the data, they move to prepare the data for the analysis. Then they analyze the data. Once that is analyzed, they also want to be visualized to the other larger audience. And once that is done, they want to share the data. This is typically a line where actually you start with a data culture. So what happened? A lot of traditional things are broken in today's environment. Now, today, in a traditional way of working, a lot of shift is basically a focus is into the IT shift. Like people are basically more of an IT resources oriented. So if you wanted to have an analytical solution or an analytical scripting or anything or analytical unearthing of a problem has to be done, you are dependent upon a lot of people. So you're dependent upon the IT because IT needs to give the data. You're dependent upon the lot of tools which comes into that. Then you're dependent upon the people of data scientists who are actually give you a lot of analysis of the data. Then at the last is go to the line of businesses, and it is very time consuming and it's very so a long process. So what happened in this area? The line of business people who are actually data analysts, they say, forget about it. I will do with the tool which is I'm more comfortable, which I have more control onto it. And they go to the Excel. Do you think Excel is an analytical tool? It's just a spreadsheet, right? So what happened? This is how the motion takes place, where actually you work with an Excel. It's very iterative. So it's very, you say like, people extract the data from the Excel, they find it, then they do it analysis, then they prepare it, then they share it, and it goes, there is no linearity of the data, or linearity of the analytics happens out there. That's how the culture is basically distracted. So what do we do? How do we build up a culture? First of all, we identify the tool, which empower the last line of people, my line of businesses. How do I use the tool? I empower those people to use the tool. The tool should be so simple that it is easily adopted. Now, as my topic says, curious case of Bookmyshow. Now, here I will take an opportunity to introduce the Bookmyshow where we have done this. I think who are the people who are sitting in this organization, or in this room? One time in their life they have booked it, or their family have booked it, the tickets on Bookmyshow. I think everybody is familiar with the ticket Bookmyshow. These are some stats about Bookmyshow. Today, every month they actually book 12 million tickets. This was started in 2007, where on August they booked only one ticket. Within a span of these years, they have actually been, because of the various analytical culture they adopted in the organization, which I will share with you how they have done it. This is what is the stats that show it. They have 100 million visits per month, 3 billion pages views they have. You can just imagine, so these are the milestones they're having. So there was a very curious case study which has come out. There was a movie called Bahubali. I think everybody has watched. So when the Bahubali was released, they were actually giving the maximum business to the Bahubali by Bookmyshow. 10 million of tickets were sold for one movie. Can you imagine? 27 tickets were being sold per second. And if there would not be an analytical culture, if there would not be an architecture for that, you just can imagine the size of the problem. This is a scale of the problem that Bookmyshow faces today. So they have 15,000 shows per day. They have 4 million seats to be booked, sold per day, 400 cities, 2,200 cinemas, 4,000 screen. Every screen has a different combinations, different geographies, they have to look out where the movies, where is my maximum sale is coming, what is the ratio of my Bookmyshow of tickets in the complete revenue of the systems. So what they did, so as I told you, to build up a culture block, you first need to identify what tool you have. After that, you empower those customers. So they evaluated a lot of tools in the market. So the prominent tool which are there in the tool, they evaluated them, and they choose Alteryx. Alteryx is a self-service data analytics tool. It's a very easy tool, no coding, nothing is required. It connects to any of the databases very easily. It has got inbuilt connectors. Today I can connect to any social media, organized data, unorganized data. So they adopted thing. Now the biggest challenge Bookmyshow was thinking, new tool which is adopted, how did it help to build analytical culture? It was so easy. By adoption of this tool, people were able to churn out the reports, which was taking the 12 days of time for the last line of business, just 2 days time. You just can imagine. And it is so easy to use this tool. So this was when they adopted this one. Now let's talk about the building block number 2 of doing an analytical culture. See, in today we are living in the digital world, where the data is erupting like anything. You talk to any other organization, approximately 95% of the organization uses multiple sources of data just coming out. This was a survey which was done in Harvard Business Review, which says that 60% of the organization in the world are having 4 to 5 various different data sources where data is lying. So your organization can be having a data lake, the data lying in a data lake. There can be a data which is lying into many of the ERPs or the databases, or the people have created their own data which is lying onto the desktop like in Excel or the Word, or they have in the cloud area, right? So just wanted to mention, there was one company where we got Alteryx adopted. They were having 150 ERPs. It's a $40 billion company, 150 ERPs, 40 different businesses. So how do we do data? This is the data block 2. So what has happened? How do we create a data motion for this much of type of volume of the data? So my question remains two. How do I consume data faster? Number one. Number two, how do I manage data better? Just to speed to the market. How did the Bookmyshow did? So they have approximately, you name any of the databases they're having, they have Amazon Redshift, they have SQL, they have MongoDB, they have different sort of marketing data, they have external agency data. You can just think the amount of data they're having at different sources. By using an Alteryx, and it's very incremental, right? By using this Alteryx, it can connect to different data sources. We empower the line of the business with which are actually at the end. They can connect, they're not dependent on the IT sources. There are a variety of unorganized and organized data which Alteryx can connect. The tool can connect to the various data sources. And the top of that, they're using the capability of data blending and advanced culture of Alteryx. They were able to do it. They were able to create the analytical culture in their organization. Now let's talk about the building block number 2. Now what we have done, we have identified the tool. We have identified how do we train our people. Now we go to the next building block of number 2. Where we have prepared a linear, let's say, methodology. How do we do an data analysis? Now let's talk to block number 3. This is a mobile application I think you must have ever used, like I think everybody has used. Now, just imagine if this application would not be there and you are driving and you are just left out of the gasoline. And if you don't know that the gasoline, or if you're hungry, that food joint is near you, you can just pass on. That's what's happening in an organization. What's happening, like data is lying anywhere. So they don't know how to actually extract the data, where the data is lying. So normally what has happened, by using an analytical foundation, or basically how do we come to the third block of, we identify where the data is lying. We prepare those data, because in an industry, 80% of the time goes into data prep. Only 20% of time is getting analysis of the data. And secondly, how can I join basically a 12 sheets or 12 different data sources to get the data? This is a building block number 3. So what is the better question? How can I define where my data is lying? How can I get the insight from the data? What will happen? So how the Alteryx, or how this Bookmyshow used it? So Bookmyshow, what it did, they used a tool which can connect to any of the different database sources. It has got in-DB database tools. It can connect to Hadoop cluster. It can connect to MongoDB. You can actually prepare those workflows on top of it. They were able to manage the reports, which was able to take 12 days for 2 days. They were actually also scaled down the type of people strength from 4 to 1. 1 people was managing the complete operation. And it was so fast. They were very well equipped with the ad hoc queries. Now let's talk about the building block number 4 in analytical culture. This was the first slide which I showed you, where actually let's take a different perspective, where we have different data sources. People are just doing Excel and they're doing the analysis on an ad hoc basis. So in any building a data community, first of all, there has to be a sharing culture. They should know, the people should know where my data is lying. They should know how to learn that technology, how to repeat that technology again and again. They are not dependent on the IT person. This is how, so there's a term which we actually coined it out, which is called citizen data scientist. Those are not the very high profile data scientists, but we empower the line of businesses to churn out the reports, not like that of them, but yes, to a level where they can actually do the analysis, which is faster. So we have to drive a culture where they can find the data. Once that they find out where does it come from, what are the data sources they have, and can it trust this data? This is the building block number 4. So how can they help me? The community, how can they help me? How can we have the sharing community, and what is the changing? Because this industry is so dynamically changing. So you need to be well prepared with the ad hoc reports. So how did the workflow, how did the Bookmyshow did it? So they actually went and took up a tool for Alteryx server. So Alteryx server actually gave them the complete capability of designing an Alteryx community out there. where people know where my information is lying. Now, if they wanted to churn out the reports, the new reports, they know, like for example, if they're churning out the sales report, they know where my sales reports are lying or sales data is lying. They have created approximately 80 apps now, which actually they schedule it and they churn out those reports. So normally in Bookmyshow, there are approximately 50 to 60 reports are actually being carried out per day, weekly, and also monthly. By using this technology, by giving them, empowering the line of businesses and creating those analytic culture by using Alteryx, they were able to derive this just quickly. They were ahead of basically on their time. So very interestingly, I want to share with them. So they are so emotionally attached with this tool now. When we say Anujay is basically the lead of Bookmyshow. When we say Anujay, if I take Alteryx from your life, what will happen? He says, my family life will be disturbed. I said, why? This is simple a tool. How come my family life is disturbed? He said, Abhisheck, before getting this tool, and when we were having a corporate seminars or like these in corporate events or any of the managerial meetings are happening, there was so much of load of our data of creating the reports that we were in the office till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the night. Even sometimes we were in the 2 in the AM. By using this tool, today my complete team is so much enabled, they are so much streamlined that we are happy to go by office by 5 or 6 p.m. in the evening. That's the power of this tool bring to a table. Because you just think of a scenario. I give you a power where you can connect your data, but just in a governance, yes. There's a governance factor also. Right? I give you a power to you, you can connect to any databases. See, asking the question from the data, you actually churning out different products now. Now, Bookmyshow has been able to churn out various products because of this, this culture and this tool. They are able to manage those stuff because people are asking the question from the data. Recently, yesterday only I saw the email that they are doing some movie hackathon. I have seen for the first time in my life. Movie hackathon. And the basis behind this is this tool. So this is all about, and something about my company, which I represent. I represent Team Computers. We are a 30-year-old company in India. Some of the very pioneer things are attached to us. We are established in 1987, 1,500 happy employees of our team. We have 25 offices and 250 locations are present across India. We provide end-to-end solutions right from the consulting, deployment, and employment and managing our services. We have a very mature analytical wing at our Team Computers at our end. So if you heard of ClickView, ClickView was brought to India by Team Computers. So now we brought Alteryx to India for and we are partners for Click, Tableau, Alteryx, and Power BI. We help in reporting and MS data warehousing consulting, providing to the various organizations. These are presence across India. Thank you. So it was a quick one, eh? Yeah. Any questions? Yeah, please. That's the power of tool is bring to a table. So Alteryx is basically just a drag and drop technology. And the best part is you can audit the complete data lineage. You can actually audit where the data is flying. So we have those workflows. You can come down to our stall. We are present at Team Computers. We will show you how we have done it. Huh? Correct. So what happened? We create an app. So what they have done, they create an app of that workflow and they publish onto the Alteryx server. So whenever they want to run the workflow, they just connect to an app and that workflow is done. Sorry? Could be anything. So we are connecting to their servers. So MongoDB is one of their source. They have Amazon Redshift is one of their source. SQL Server is one of their source. So multiple source they have. So it has got inbuilt connectors. So today I can also connect to SAP HANA also directly. Yeah. Any more questions? Okay. See, SSIS is more of a reporting tool.
As a reporting tool is a service system.
So SSIS and SSRS are both a reporting tool. It brings a lot of advanced analytics to a table.
So my question is, I'll just repeat the question. If I take the MSBI suite, you have SSIS, which does the integration part of it. You have SSRS, which does the reporting part of it.
Correct.
And you have SSAS, which does the analytical part. So how is this different from the entire?
I can tell you three things. Number one, it's ease of use. It's just drag and drop. There is no scripting, nothing coding is required. You don't have to be, today what is happening in Bookmyshow, before this tool, they were actually recruiting people who have experience of 5 years or 6 years down the line from various tools and technologies. Today they are recruiting freshers. In a 2 months, in a 1 month time, I tell you, in a 10 days time, I can train you of creating those reports. That's the usability and the ease of use of this tool. Secondly, we have inbuilt 40 plus productive analytical packets into this. This is built up on our technology. So what they have done, they have created some macros, just drag and drop. So like for example, decision tree, your market basket analysis, whatever analysis you want to do, you don't have to code it. You don't have to reporting and the thing, just drag and drop. And it is, you get those answers within minutes and hours, that's it. And it can handle any amount of data. So Walmart uses this tool extensively. Honeywell, complete analytics of Honeywell, which is basically, it does two technologies, this Alteryx and the layer down is a data prep layer, and the visualization layer is Tableau. So, correct. So, correct, you got all the complete suite. So see, very surprisingly, so we got some lot of customers which were actually happening, and when we showed this tool, the only feedback which we got is, this tool has more power, and the time to business is more faster. So I don't have to require or focus on to the people who are very Microsoft oriented people, like who have got those knowledge. I can have plethora of people, I can actually go to any other people, I can train those in the tool. That's one is basically what's okay. And the cost perspective, yes, that's yes is a factor out there. But still, I have seen an edge over basically the ease of use and the power it brings to a table. I know. So it has got a lot of other things also attached to it. It has got geospatial analysis also. You can connect to, so for example, one of a manufacturing company has solved millions of dollars of the problems by solving this, by having a spatial analysis of the tool. So single tools give you the complete power, right from the extraction of the data, right from the transformation of the data, the complete ETL suite. Apart from the ETL suite, is give you the maturity over our spatial analysis. You can create a spatial analysis. And apart from the spatial analysis, you can also do advanced analytics on a fly. You don't have to, so you just need to know the concept. What is A/B testing is, what is market basket analysis. You just drag and drop and you're able to do the data. See, a guy who has got an experience of all, let's say 6 months or 1 year, I'm churning out the data which is actually as equivalent as the senior data scientist is. So we call it the corporate citizens. Bingo. That was basically.
Repeat the question. We can't hear it.
So the question is, So the question is basically, she wanted to ask like, the MS Business Suite has got SSRS and SS reporting. How Alteryx is different from that?
Okay. And did you answer?
Yeah, I have answered. So the lady sitting over there has also answered. It's basically the ease of use, and it's more for technical. So SSRS still is more technical, and Alteryx is more of an easy thing. So Mikey is basically from the Alteryx. He's Asia Pac head in the senior business development from Alteryx. Any questions related to Alteryx or any questions related to Bookmyshow, anything regarding culture? Yeah, please. Audit analysis. Donna, do we have any library of audit analysis?
We don't have a tool of audit analysis, but you can create a workflow implementing the logic. For example, if you know you're not well, the scheduling workflows. So scheduling algorithms that you have, you can create the scheduling logic
in Alteryx. So as such, there is no tool for knowledge analysis, but you can create a workflow for it.
Does it require any expertise, coding or something? Or
No, not at all.
That's the beauty of this.
Configure.
You don't require coding. If I give you a training, so we are present in our team computer. Please do visit our stall. I give you a training and this tool, right? I think you have a technical background. I'm sure you can create a workflow on the fly. That's the power is bring to a table.
The way I would equate it is if you can do a VLOOKUP in Excel, you can use Alteryx. It's that easy.
It's as simple as that. And I mean it. Please do visit to Alteryx website or Team Computer's website, and you see plethora of case studies out there. How people have transformed. See, the people are so emotionally attached to this tool. I was speaking to one of a leading manufacturing company which have in Bangalore itself. By the way, we have an Alteryx user group meet in Bangalore, which is very, very heavy on it, like which is very advanced. So if you wanted to come and you can just share, you can see how people are emotionally attached to this tool. Any other question regarding to this tool or regarding to our data?
Data blending, different data sources. Tableau, we are joining blending.
This is as easy as like peeling of an orange. As simple as it is. Because it has got inbuilt connectors. Data blending is the main core area of